Lucky with maps. Nah, I don't know about that all that much, but now we don't have any kind of like vetoes for them or whatnot. Painted desert. That is an interesting one. That could theoretically be curious. Curious is that we actually both players are gonna be having TCs on the same side. Theoretically, it would have been nicer, especially for the Yagi, if he were spread on both sides because of trade. Then obviously that's kind of like the power on Painted Desert. Can see immediately going midwards. That's gonna be therefore probably ability to steal both of those. Going for the elephant immediately, and yeah, that's how it's gonna be rolling. This is definitely also something if he's gonna be noticing that more, where he would be maybe wanting to consider turning the Moracle into a hero and stopping that. Yeah, because the elephant is quite a bit of a big pick. Anthonyson, thank you for the follow. Where is the gold mine, by the way? Easy there. No problem. Very easy gold mine as well for SuperAfim. That's also not entirely too problematic. And this map could be also challenging because of the gold positions. Something that could save SuperAfim would be if there were a gold mine somewhere around here, which frankly is very much possible. It does spawn that way on Painted Desert. You can say it now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's an 8th one. It's probably gonna be somewhere here. This map is usually somewhat reliable. You can straight now Trojan Gate Hinge. Oh, well. Not gonna be jumping out of the window for that one, but Drink of the Nibelung, that's a bit curious, maybe. That could be a bit of a help. Elephant already converted. Pefim also, no. There are a lot of like gameplay aspects that players can be improving with. A lot of the god powers are used strong by the players and not through fullest capacity. Plenty of things are winged, as in that they are not playing to, again, like the best timings they can, for example with Rain and 2TC Fast Heroics and whatnot. Like really, there is plenty of room for improvement. Players really aren't playing in any kind of near top level of capacity. Definitely not, which is of course significantly skewing any kind of balanced discussions, because people are just basically still, as it always has been in Age of Mythology, I mean like, there's still like the mindset, the game is played the best it can be, so therefore anything that results in my loss has to be because the game is broken. And yeah, well, if you're gonna be making design decisions with this kind of idea, then obviously you're just gonna be making crap decisions in the first place. You just can't avoid that. Ah, that's the gold. That's what you're looking for, the 8th one. And it is in a pretty damn good spot, by the way, for SuperAfim. He's gonna be thrilled with that. Good protection by the mountain. This is superb gold for him, for Painted Desert. Second TC there, wall in front. Voila, you are having right now your 30 minutes for the Yagi. Pretty nice. Okay, so that's gonna be it about now. Easy, it seems like. So far, still plenty zebras. Not sure if he's gonna be able to even right now finish with the other part here. Because obviously at this point, no, well, it's not gonna be the fastest and quickest from Mor. Trying to block the path in here. But nonetheless, you know, the classic 430 for him. I do wonder, because if he's somewhere in the middle here, SuperAfim, one has to maybe consider if he's not gonna be wanting to take that TC actually. Though, I'm not entirely seeing the appeal in that too much, because it doesn't give him anything too much, seriously. It does have some defensive properties here as well, which are a bit curious, maybe. But nonetheless, I'm still kind of holding this couple is very nice. So he doesn't have to be really overplaying his hand too much, in my opinion. Okay, another zebra coming home. Yeah, so incredibly slow. 1.9. That might be actually legitimately at this point the slowest that I have seen. 1.98. Can say right now, actually, if it's gonna be converted, it's gonna be even slower than the normal animal. Wait, what? You can say right now 2.2. And right now the zebra. Oh. You actually change the speeds when you advance into the next age. Ah, right. Right, because there was definitely 1.98 in there. Now, well, whatever the case, he's gonna be really taking the front TC. I'm a bit surprised by that. But in the end, it's gonna be serving somewhat of a similar purpose to what we mentioned earlier. Can see also right now double counter barrack, so he's gonna be playing very much the same as in the last game, it feels to me. But this play is gonna be there for meaning. Right now what SuperAfim is doing, he's gonna be having easier access potentially to left TC here as a third one. It's gonna be very nice. As you can see now all the way through bottom. It's gonna be kinda hard for SuperAfim to maybe even make a claim on that, to be honest. That's a very nice kill. It's a very valuable kill, to be honest. It's very good beginning at this point for SuperAfim. Not SuperAfim, I just kinda seen the super in there. Immediately my brain of course goes into SuperAfim because that's the only player whose nickname is that way. Well, why do you have to be at this point trolling with those nicknames more? But yeah, well, at least there's something to talk about, I guess. Barracks coming up. Double Elephantos are really good. I'll be actually very much considering keeping them alive because they are very tanky. 233 hit points, 20% resistance, 7 attack. Even though they are damn slow, as a defensive army they can be actually pretty good. And this is something that actually I'm not entirely seeing from set players either. Again, room for improvement as we talking about earlier. And that is basically using the animals in fights, but right before they die, delete them if you're gonna be fighting next to your TC. Because at that point, you're gonna be, of course, still able to use them for the food, instead of just gonna letting them die in the middle of the army, right? So that's really something that nobody does. And that's like typically another room for improvement, because you just can be getting yourself extra food for that. And much more importantly, if you're gonna be having them die, for example, the big animals next to the TC, it also complicates pathfinding for the enemy to get somewhere, anywhere. So it does have even that kind of implication, right? So you're just gonna mess up with the pathfinding that way. Second TC very much earlier for Mor this time. You can definitely see how they're developing their gameplay. I really enjoy that. That players are thinking about it, they're just not like blindly executing. They are trying to adapt to the map here. So you can definitely see that both of the players are having some smarts to them. So it's really cool. Really cool indeed. And, well, it's gonna go in back here. But he's having some kind of... He's always hitting, right? Yes. Track rate in 5, but accuracy 100%. Right. That's gonna be... yeah, this way. So you can kind of dodge him if you're gonna be faster. But he doesn't suffer from like what every ranged unit suffers from. And that is that you are having kind of like the cone of precision that kind of closes up on the units in a few hits. Yeah, he's gonna be immediately basically like ranging for the correct place where the unit is. So basically 100% ballistics as in Age of Empires 2. Something along those lines. That's what it's gonna be meaning. Noka, Relicoso. That's the one for the Trojan Gate Hinge. Coincidentally, again going for the walls immediately. Hendux and Pickaxe, quite of course. On the other side, we're gonna be having SuperAfim with, again, a nothing. And yeah, that's... He was kinda hoping... I mean, like, he was playing on... Talking about the precision right there. He was hoping that maybe he's gonna be getting lucky. And if all the Turmei got actually precision hit, he'll be most probably able to kill the priest in there. I'm not gonna be doing the math, I'm too lazy for that currently. If he were having plenty of hit points in their damage, you can do it yourself. At this point he was having some 50 hit points, they are doing 4.8. There is 0% pierce resistance, so full damage. Do it yourself, I'm very too lazy for that, and that's gonna be right now the trap. And are we gonna be there for having some kind of position somewhere to glitch through? I think this is gonna be a lot less likely, because usually the glitches through the forest happens if you're gonna be having like this, for example. Like this kind of hole, that's where the units can somehow glitch through. I'm really curious about that recording of the previous game. You have to look at that, what happened there. So of course, at this point, we are going to be having all the way into the middle. Nothing much, still plenty food potentially for Ati. There used to be Hunt here, so you can just switch into gold, it looks like. Nothing much more there. You can see right now military barracks ×2. Okay, that's a nice switch already. Quite a bit early. No, but I mean, like last game, he didn't even actually do that switch and he still won. What is this? I'm just kind of looking at the axemen around the tree, and it almost looks like... So, was this some kind of training practice for them? Like with their axes? It was actually kind of cool moment in there. And no, that's the 30C. That's what I was mentioning earlier, right? Based on the last progress, he was wanting to always go for the extra TC. And now, since he has taken the front one, he was having very easy time to get the third one there. He didn't have to be going into risky position. So that's why he has chosen this one as a first. Even though for the gold, this one would have been more logical second TC. So it was actually fairly nice thinking through and ahead. Again, we're actually really having two smart players here who are adjusting and adapting their gameplay on the run, which is really, it's always fun to see and watch. You gotta enjoy that. No, well, whatever the case, that's gonna be at this point definitely quite a bit thirdly position for SuperAfim. So Mor is gonna be going for very quick, you can say now 10-minute heroic age. At this point though, there's a pretty high chance SuperAfim might be able to reach his own. Well, that right now this depends kind of. Because Mor can be either deciding to drop Palace and trying to attack or go Mythic. I'll be probably preferring the Mythic to be honest, maybe even. Because I'm thinking the sooner he's gonna be hitting the Tartarian gate there, the bigger impact it's going to be having. But he's evidently going for full defense here. Because the last one was won, mostly because SuperAfim just kinda wasn't able to get into the next age. Now, he's gonna be able to do so. He's gonna be having one gold mine for that. One gold mine, currently at 4,000. And this one, he's gonna be dropping Migdol upon for certain. So that's gonna be where probably the game fight is gonna be taking place. As this one is now, well, way too far away, not protected by anything. It's gonna be hard to go to be honest. Definitely not, Pefimoso. That definitely wasn't. I'm kind of thinking he was already very unlucky with how the shifting sense worked for SuperAfim, so I'm thinking it maybe equalized it into like a normal situation. In my opinion, it definitely wasn't like the reason to be winning him anything. Absolutely not. More of a decider was that risk on the front TC for SuperAfim that didn't work out. That was more of an important thing having an effect on the game. Okay. Oh yeah, that's of course right now the bad part of the 3 TCs. It's gonna be costing you a lot of gold, or sorry, food on the villagers. And if you're gonna be insisting on getting the 80, that's gonna be further of course delaying your heroic age. Even though of course the opponent was already earlier. I'm kinda thinking that maybe he could have wanted to maybe get the third one. But at the same time not entirely necessarily having all the autocues running possibly all the time. I'm really thinking that heroic age, the ancestors are really needed here. Okay, that's a fairly solid army for it. Full pop limit practically for both. So of course at this point disadvantage for Mor because he's at only 2. With the third one still not entirely under his idea and kind of like doesn't want to take it simply. Let's not make the English too complicated there. With copper shields, Heart of the Titans, and heavy infantry. Heavy infantry is gonna be quite a bit important, but nonetheless heavy archers would be maybe a bit more curious as well. And there's the heroic age of course currently. Full pop limit on the villagers. Yeah, this is right now where it's gonna be getting a bit funny, of course. And Mor better be having powerful economy, because he's gonna be needing a lot of heroes very soon. He's already prepared himself quite nice defenses there, but I'm almost thinking he might want to be dropping a few more buildings around the TC to make it a bit safer. As theoretically that Ancestors push could be a bit harmful. And I'm thinking that bit might be somewhat of an understatement, possibly. No, but nonetheless, still the gold situation is gonna be quite a bit curious. You can see already right now blocking the top one, absolutely making sense. That's at least the Hecate. It's gonna be very good. Because if he's gonna be there for fighting and keeping the fight here for the gold mine, then Tartarian is gonna be coming somewhere back here. He can't be unfortunately hitting both TC at once, in my opinion. It's gonna be too far away. But yeah, well, he's gonna be probably blocking this somewhat. Yeah, it's gonna be definitely playable. Or, what he could possibly do... is basically fight there and having Tartarian gate here at the back on the same TC. So basically he will be having practically somewhat like an Ancestors as well of his own. And it's something that maybe could be also working on, to be honest. Right then, full wills. Oh, fairly high resources for SuperAfim. I was kind of contemplating if maybe it's not gonna be Mythic and straight and whoo. Talking about the forward Palace in there, I can say it now, Mor is gonna be hoping for a forward Migdol, but it's not gonna be that easy. No, that is a bad spot. Like, how is that protecting the gold? Jesus damn. Like, why there? Are we just gonna go in straight either into the choke point here? Or just like next to forest, doesn't matter. This feels to me like weirdly far away. Not sure why. That's a bit strange in my opinion. But well, whatever the case, on the units we are gonna be there for having medium destroyers with copper shields. Wasn't he getting heavy infantry? I think he was. Yeah, he switched it into that mythical age then. Okay, interesting. Cavalry on the other side. Of course, units are gonna be full copper line. That's a bit curious, but okay. Atlanteans taking very serious or curious spots. But unless you can say about now, it's gonna be actually coming into a bit of a good luck for SuperAfim. Super Morero rather. Because he's gonna be right now recognizing there's a gold mine that the opponent wants to be taken as well. As the Tartarian gate is gonna be Indian coming for a few houses. And onto the main TC. There's a plenty villages next to it. So I'll be probably maybe even like in the back one, but whatever. I guess it's gonna be somewhat similar, with also third town center taken by Mor currently. Fortunately, Lampions are gonna be getting destroyed almost instantaneously here. Yeah, immediately houses. Should have been kind of like... No, it depends. If he needs to be having the population limit immediately, then he wants to be having more villages on one. Otherwise, of course, the efficient way would be each of them starting on its own, based on how it works in of Mythology. Seems like the Tartarian is gonna be destroyed, of course, fairly promptly. And, oh wow, that's gonna be a novelty. Kontari making an appearance here. Nice. As you can see right now, the Tartarian gate actually cost a lot of wills. He lost like 15 villages here. Oh... Yeah, I was kinda thinking it's still just like a few buildings in there in units. But it's gonna be having a completely different idea, Mr. Moore. Okay, Ancestors coming up. Yeah, I think it's gonna... Oh wow, he's gonna be having resources for the heroes, good. So you can actually right now fix that. And protecting right now the fire siphon, very cool. Very cool little detail currently here. And otherwise, few more Axemen, which obviously isn't going to be entirely the game breaker for the Kontari. Definitely not. Very nice actually keeping the fire siphon alive, so it seems like right now the town center is very much ready to be taken down. So on the other side of the map, nothing too much going on, because we don't have, by the way, Siege Workshop too much ready. You can see it's gonna be the first one, probably going for the heart of Mor's base as well, it looks like. That one fire siphon is gonna be gone, but on the other hand, while the Tartarian gate is destroyed, those spawns are still present, and looks like it. They might be maybe actually even able to finish the TC on their own. They have a bit of a little help here from Mor. He is gonna be making sure this is gone, and this is important because you are having, I mean, like millions of farms here at this point, about 15, maybe 20. Looks like about 20 farms at this point are gonna be gone, which is a huge problem because even with Shadow, it's quite a bit of a cost you have to be right now still putting into that. So Tornado coming forward to suck up all this, but it already did its damage. Just gonna try to run away with the horses at least. But nonetheless, this is actually fairly important as it's gonna be maybe opening the opportunity for, didn't even see the siege tower beyond the tree, to maybe handle the middle. And of course right now gold mine block definitely could be also a bit useful here. But definitely Mor is very much looking forward to possibly having the game 5 here in the match. Heavy archers, can say about now 61 wills, not entirely of course the highest. Looking at the upgrades, cavalry, but otherwise pretty low for 19 minutes of the game time. And on the other side you can see the resources also not like incredibly high here. There is some kind of citizen, there is a citizen, but for example flat control, not entirely full on the other resources, but nonetheless still seems to be a bit better than what SuperAfim is currently playing with. And again, no trade for the Egyptian, that's obviously always a problem, and so far I actually don't think that in either of the 4 games he was having a trade SuperAfim. I think he was playing without that for all of that match. And that's the GG. So after 2 games where SuperAfim was going and looking damn strong, Mor has found some inner power and strength, and we're gonna be at 2-2. And the best of 5 show / grudge match is gonna be at this point going into the decider. And the last one is gonna be right now telling us who therefore is gonna be having to change their nickname and who's gonna be having the bragging rights. They're gonna be definitely letting us know about. So let's have a look onto some stats. And yeah, well, of course, gonna be seeing, we were looking at that a moment ago. So that's not gonna be anything too much new. Heavy Archy, Copper Shield. On the other side, that's gonna be probably nothing for... Oh, actually, he was having the first line already prepared earlier. Bronze shields there. Still a gold there. But this was a quite nice, actually, side build here by Mor. So let's have a look into the post game, where we are at this point going to be looking again, same-ish food. The same as in the last game. It's kind of actually funny, maybe. And nonetheless, 9-8 and 2, so it's gonna be 11-8 and 7. That's 12.5. 12,500 resources. That's a lot more than actually in the previous games at this point in favor for Mor. But same-ish military count units killed, but units lost, that's a whole different story. But this is gonna be including ancestors in there, but even without them, the difference is huge. This time, not entirely that many budgets. And you can see, of course, the villages after the Tartarian Gate. It did definitely its job pretty well. Nicely softened up the main TC, so that Mor can then take it down with the side build. Nicely played and planned as well. GG.